see the Baron Grumpjaw bans, for example, every
Go
game?
based on my research yesterday, Reliable Union does play Grace with Idris, and they actually combine it with a Jungle Sky and won that matchup.
Okay.
So Grace will be hotly contested, I think, between both these teams here for sure.
But let's focus on the Batiste for them.
Yeah, they have not played Batiste actually yesterday, so I'm not sure if Reliable Union can play it. So let's see if it's come out. They're gonna go ahead and ban Vox away from Apfel here, which is pretty smart, which leaves Grumpjaw, Baron, Grace, all potential bans from Mousesports here. So whatever Mousesports doesn't ban, they're gonna go ahead and pick up. And Baron is going to be banned. That Baron, he's never going to see play here in EU.
Yeah, Baron is just not allowed in this situation, which is kind of funny because, you know, last season, Baron was one of the most played heroes in EU, right? That was like the EU pick.
Yeah, it was very, very common. I believe it was actually sitting right around... where did it go? I had the stat here.
All right, well, you look at your stats.
Yeah,
we'll talk
I'm not
about
sure
the
about
fact
this
Grumpjaw's
Grumpjaw
in.
pick because Grace is actually good against Grumpjaw. When Grumpjaw dives in, Grace can just Holy Nova and stun him and counter him to start getting his living armor stack shredded and make him a little more squishy. So let's see if Mousesports is going to take that Grace first. They're not. They're going to take Blackfeather and ban the Idris. Blackfeather is like the popular good-looking guy here in EU. Like, he's been picked a lot here pretty often.
Only for his appearances, though. That's
Yes,
the only
totally for his appearance. You know, that rose and that sword. You know.
He's definitely got that kind of, you know, suave Frenchman look about him, but Idris is going to be the ban coming out from Mousesports. They're going to be happy. But this is a very early pick of Blackfeather. This is kind of the earliest we've seen him in a draft recently.
Also, Grace hasn't been touched yet, which is surprising. There's going to be the ban
there we
at
go.
least.
Oh, yes, she has.
So Mousesports definitely going to take Lyra here because Lyra CP Blackfeather is a very strong combo. Reliable unit will need to run a weapon Grumpjaw. CP Grumpjaw is not good into a CP Blackfeather because he falls off. He loses the scale game versus CP Blackfeather. So I think Mousesports will pick Arden here or Lyra. If they give Lyra Grumpjaw, that's a really dangerous combination to give over to the Reliable unit. So let's see what Mousesports can end up picking here.
Grumpjaw too.
Yeah, exactly. Adagio Grumpjaw is really strong, but I'm not sure if Reliable unit plays Adagio Grumpjaw. You know, it depends on their comfort picks here for sure.
Yeah, so interesting statistic on there as well. You can see Blackfeather is actually the most played hero this season for I'm the Doom. So
yeah,
very clearly a comfort pick. So maybe that's why they've gone so early in the draft. But Finn coming through.
He played it twice yesterday and they won with it twice with Blackfeather Arden and Blackfeather Lyra. So this is the first time I've seen Blackfeather Finn here. So it's a very interesting draft by Mousesports.
They're just trying to get the whole set of Blackfeather with all of the different
However, Finn does counter Grumpjaw though because he's so tanky. He can't get eaten, so he can block the stuffed. And he can also stun him with the Quibble because Grumpjaw is a pretty big guy, easy to hit. So let's see if they're going to take Lyra, Adagio here, or Adagio combined with Arden. You know, all great combinations. They definitely need to run a weapon Grumpjaw, in which they will with the Samuel pick here, looks like.
But now, is it going to be a Captain Grumpjaw? Because Samuel is so often in the jungle, and I don't see them putting Samuel into the lane. So this leads me to believe it will be a Captain Grumpjaw.
It definitely feels like Mousesports are building this composition to go against the Grumpjaw. Perhaps this is something they've been preparing for specifically, but the Samuel locked in and now looking towards the final pick for Reliable Union. They've got to round out this composition. Now, you mentioned that there could be a Captain Grumpjaw. With the Glaive coming in, there's still a little bit up in the air. Glaive could be the captain as well. We saw that last game.
We could, but that would then... Again, either Samuel or Grumpjaw would have to go in the lane, and I don't really feel like...
Not a fan.
Neither of those two are really very common in the lane, whereas Glaive we have been seeing in the lane pretty regularly.
I don't know. Someone was telling me that Weapon Power Samuel can actually be very strong in the lane.
Well, someone lied to you. that is what happened
So
there.
for anyone tuning in that didn't see the last series, go back and watch it. It's a perfect example of why never to pick Weapon Power Samuel. Anyway, what are we thinking about the compositions? What are the win conditions for these teams?
Yeah, I don't like them picking double melee into Finn. I mean, they should have still weapon powered a Grumpjaw. He's still very strong. If they reflex block the Finn Quibble and gets onto a carry and blows up Kestro, that would have worked perfectly fine. But the Glaive is not good into Finn. So I feel like Mousesports has a better draft here.
So that Finn definitely going to be the crux of this Mousesports draft.
Yeah, so much of what they want to do is going to be around that Finn and protecting the other two heroes. Using the fortified health is going to be really strong against the double melee, as Suijay was mentioning. And it forces them to group up, too. Like, the Glaive and the Grumpjaw are going to be pretty much on top of each other most of the time. And that just is inviting trouble when you're up against the Kestrel.
And I'm betting on Justman's Finn. His Finn is actually really
Yeah.
good based on what I've seen, so I think he's going to carry on this Finn.
We did say we wanted to see Justman step up today. This could be the opportunity for him to do so. Get involved on social media. Use that hashtag Vainglory8 to get in touch and let us know who you are going to be supporting, whether you think Mouse is the favorite or whether you think Reliable Union can come into this one swinging. We'll find out as we're going to pass it over to the Halcyon Fold.
Thank you very much, Munchables, and it is this second series, Reliable Union, making it through to day 2 here from the Challenger Series to facing out Mouse. Theoretically, a second Challenger Series team if you consider that their origins were formed in Lemon and Lime.
Yeah, very good point, but they've certainly shown they can battle up here in the VG8, do very well, winning week number 1, and on track to have a strong performance here again. Reliable Union, this is their opportunity to make a statement and say that they belong here too, and that they are very, very strong contenders. I think we got to talk about the draft a little bit though, because this Grumpjaw going through, not something we see a lot of. Not only did it go through, but we're seeing it paired up with a lane glaive, and it's actually a captain. Now we've really not seen very much of that. It does seem like something that is a little bit ill-conceived into a Finn, potentially. Mostly because, in my opinion, Captain Grumpjaw is best used for eating the enemy captain, right? Like, that's the most likely case, because it's pretty hard to get onto the backline, especially against, like, a Kestrel and a Black Feather. Getting to those targets is hard, but you can't eat Finn.
Right.
So that's not going to work super well.
I think the best usage I've seen of a Captain Grumpjaw is eating a weapon-powered crew, and taking him away from the team fight, and that way the carries can focus down the opposite carry. But here we go, Daredevil setting up. This is going to be Apfel dying. There's just no escape, and that will be first blood going over to Daredevil.
Very nice plays there out of Reliable Union. That is certainly something the Captain Grumpjaw can do. Has a strong slow on the dash, so if you set it up with an afterburn, it's a nice spot to be in. This is actually going to be a struggle pretty much, consistently for Apfel, unless he reacts quickly enough to Daredevil going in with an active camo. He's gonna die to that gank every single time. So either Justman stays up here with him, or Apfel just, hovers over that active camo and makes sure that he always lands it before it's too late.
I really like the weapon glaive into Kestrel. We saw it succeed for Dynasty in their game against this side of SK Gaming. It just provides so much threat for Apfel, and Apfel has had a fantastic time so far into his entry of the VG8 the summer season, playing on heroes like Vox and playing on heroes like Gwen. When we've seen him kind of dive into other weapon-powered carries, he hasn't had as much success, and so now in this Kestrel, I'm sure he's experienced. He wouldn't be playing it otherwise, but against a glaive, it's possibly the hardest counter that you can face against.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Reacting to that is nigh on impossible for most mortals. Maybe Apfel is an example of someone who can actually have those quick reactions. We've seen him perform incredibly well since he joined. Look at that damage, too. I mean, the burst out of a weapon glaive alone is enough to really put the fear of God into you. Apfel's going to have to be very careful here. One thing that is also sort of less thought about, but I still think quite relevant in this matchup, is the fact that actually, although he's not going for it because he wants to set up ganks, if you ever leave lane, Glaive actually pushes very quickly because of Splash. Like, once he actually picks up some crit, it's a bit of a problem.
He is caught a little bit, but able to speed away with the power of his sprint and boots. It's going to be Justman taking these Malice and Verdicts to the back, just to make sure Doom doesn't take any splash damage. And it's quite interesting. For those who are wondering, if you kind of look at the tables here in Europe, Mouse obviously last week taking first place, and with some of their contenders actually dropping out in day one, if they take this series against Reliable Union, there's no way they lose first place in Europe here. So they're in a really strong position because Dynasty, I think the furthest they can get is 11 points. If they take EU, that's a first place in EU. Whereas Mouse, if they make it to the finals, they will be sitting higher, I think, on 14 points. So right now, Mouse are in a very strong position. They just need to win this series, but Reliable Union are putting up a lot of fight, and that's going to be I'm the Doom taken on out. Another kill going over to them, and Justman, well, he's a slow Finn. He cannot escape this, and so he will go down. And Reliable Union have to be feared. When they are playing to the top of their game and catching people out, they are actually a very scary team.
Roaming into the enemy jungle with Blackfeather Finn at this stage is probably a little bit premature. The thing you got to realize is that Finn scales really hard. Oh, hang on, Apple.
Yeah, this is destruction. Like,
Guys.
okay, so let me just tell a story real quick, AJ, before you break this down. Reliable Union were known in the Challenger Series for playing triple melee and scaling games and then just diving onto carries and blowing them up. So that's what they were known for in the Challenger Series. Now, it's a new roster in the form of Daredevil and HF Guy coming in, the code of moving from manager to captain. But there's still that kind of element that exists, that they will play these melee heroes that can catch you out and blow you up. And with the Samuel paired from HF Guy, it provides them so much more, I guess, options to take fights because they have range added to their kit.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I think really Reliable Union have a composition that favors the style they like to play. Mousesports is kind of an interesting contrary point to that, right? Like I feel like, are not playing a comp that necessarily lends itself to the fact that they're very, for example, very mechanically gifted players who are, have historically, at the very least, been able to pressure very effectively. Weapon Power Kestrel in lane is not a pick that does that in most matchups. Finn, although Justman is excellent on this Finn, and we have seen him play it a lot, is not something that, facilitates plays early on, and Crystal Blackfeather can do it, but just not paired with a Finn. So either they fight together, I think is 3, or Mouse need to just establish vision and play very defensively. They don't have good tools for setting things up this early into the game.
And when you throw it back to draft and you consider the fact that the first ban that came out of Reliable Union was this Vox, and you remember back to the point I made about Apfel and his fantastic plays on Gwen and Vox, but those heroes alone so far in the VG8, that kind of really feeds into how Reliable Union set up a draft that favored them this hardly, because the Vox already removed and the Grumpjaw added, which provides some threat, though perhaps less in the captain position. It's forced Apfel to go onto a hero that he hasn't played yet into the VG8 and is untested, and Reliable Union wanting to punish this. Likodov, level 6, has stuffed available. We'll have to see if they can catch someone out with either an Afterburner or Stuffed and just open up this turret for Siege.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely they push onto a turret objective this early, but they could definitely go for some back camps or maybe even the sentry if they want to. I love that HF Guy is playing very split to his team. They don't know, like Reliable Union does not know how close Justman is to 6. We know he's super close, and they probably have an inkling of that. As a result, the last thing you want to do is stack in the bush. You will get blown up, you will get punished. HF Guy playing down where he was, away from his team, means that if you go for the hook, you're not hitting everyone, and HF Guy can perhaps Oblivion as a counter-engage, and it means that as soon as that camp spawns, you can rotate down and pick it up. They don't have to commit themselves specifically to the turret. So, from a tactical perspective, Reliable Union is playing their composition perfectly, and they're also giving good respect to what they can offer on the other side.
Oh, Doom looks to he gets a steal. That was a steal. Doom gets the steal and he runs away. I thought he was looking for it, but it was just a straight up steal from Doom. Holy moly. Casters obviously blind. Myself especially, so maybe I need to get my eyes checked, go to Specsavers or something, because that was incredible from Doom.
It really was really strong stuff there. That punished Reliable Union pretty hard. They obviously, with the lead they have inherently in their composition and also through their play this game, need to be doing everything in their power to keep it and avoid letting the side of Mousesports scale. They, when you get a steal like that, lose a lot of advantage. I mean, the gold is now only 600 difference between the two teams. We've talked about it before, some heroes spend it better. Kestrel, Blackfeather, definitely heroes that spend it very well.
Yeah, for sure. And once Doom starts hitting these second item, the Broken Myth, then that's when this Black Feather is going to become a bit of a threat. Try and poke down this fairly melee composition of the Glaive and the Grumpjaw to try and prevent the massive engagers coming out. He can definitely provide a lot of threat with these on points if he's hitting them. And Apfel with the Glimmer Shots can definitely do a very similar job. So Mouse, they are looking to scale up. That's when Finn becomes his strongest. That's when Weapon Power Kestrel becomes the strongest. And that's when CP Black Feather becomes his strongest as well. And for Reliable Union, they will be very strong in the late game. They don't fall off necessarily, but they will be on slightly more equal footing and will have to deal with a poke that's coming out of both Apfel and Doom.
It's all relative, right? And also you got to consider what builds we're going for here. Daredevil is going for a weapon power build. Now, this means his damage is going to be much more comparable to the other heroes he's against in the late game, but it also means that someone like a Crystal Blackfeather is going to be able to annihilate him with poke. Glaive does not function well, you know, darting in and out of fights. You go in, you go hard, try and make it happen all at once, and you know, on the other side, Mouse has tools to punish any time where they fail to do that.
Well, you're going to see the Afterburn used defensively, as that's going to be a one-shot connecting to Daredevil. They've stuffed up Doom, though, and he can just use his reflex too late. Justman taking a lot of damage, but Doom can use that Rose offensive to get out, and the Fountain will come out from Mouse to heal them all up. Look at the health bar on Daredevil, and look at the fact that the Fountain is there from Likodov, but not being used yet, which suggests that Reliable Union don't actually want to team fight. And this could be a risk if Mouse are able to get onto this turret. Likodov, he's gone low. Fountain will come out. Daredevil goes in, but the Afterburn doesn't connect. Good reflex block, like you mentioned. And now Reliable Union are at massive threat. Unless HF Guy can do enough damage to force the entirety of Mouse off, seeming like he can actually do that. Oh no, he is so low. What is this? Everyone is blinking, but no one is dying. Is everyone just going to go back? Gentleman's agreement, we all go home and come back again later.
Maybe. Or Daredevil will go in, Twisted Stroke, and get a triple kill. That's possible. You know, honestly there, Dustman made a really smart decision. Even though HF Guy was kind of low and so was his teammates, he actually backed away and made sure that he didn't get a Corrupted Genius off, which would have allowed HF Guy to chase more. That was a nice one-shot. Not quite doing enough, but... this is the thing, right? Like, and this is one of the reasons I'm a bit concerned about the Captain Grumpjaw. Eating I'm the Doom doesn't accomplish much if your team isn't all engaging simultaneously. And, you know, it's hard for a Reliable Union around this turret to make that play. I'd like to see them continue focusing things like the Gold Miner, and I'd also like to see them do some jungle invasion if they want to fight early, which, you know, they should do. The turret is the hardest objective for them to make this work.
And it always has been with Reliable Union, but as soon as they start getting to the point where they have the defensives, that's when it becomes a job for them. It does mean they draw games out. We've seen 30-minute games from Reliable Union in Challenger Series against the likes of Living Lime, which is kind of cool as far as story is concerned, because this is their first matchup since those days. But it's entirely different rosters on both sides of the table. So whilst the rivalry may be there, perhaps the players aren't feeling it. Either way, this turret is being taken very low, and it's not going to be long until Mouse find an opportunity to take that one out.
Very true. Like it off, moving up here.
Really?
Might go for Apple.
They're going for him the Doom. He blocks the Rose offensive. Fountain will save his life. Now they can look to re-engage onto Daredevil. I'm the Doom. Takes a bit of poke in the process, has to respect the fact that there's crit and tension bow. That's going to put this Kestrel asleep. Apfel will go down. The reflex block can't save his life. And this might be the turret window that Reliable Union needed. They don't have minions, but HF Guy reckons he has I'm the Doom. He does! The last Malice and Verdict snipes him into oblivion. And Reliable Union pull ahead even further.
Yeah, I like that they were able to pick up that win. HF Guy doing some really nice plays on the periphery of that fight, finding the Oblivion onto Apfel, obviously the straw that broke their back there for Mousesports. Dustman wants to steal it. We've seen Finn steal an abnormal
We've seen Justman still. Oh, okay, never mind. One shot comes through, tags Likodov. Reliable Union are fairly low. Justman has to be careful that he doesn't just find himself being taken out. It's got the War Treads now, this is huge, and that's going to be turret going down. Apfel, oh, he does secure it, but he loses his life in the process. The Doom's going to be engaged upon, but there's no energy for the Stuffed, which makes his life a little bit easier.
I'm actually surprised Apfel, I mean, Apfel knows he's dying there. He's a strong player, he knows that there's no way out, so why not just turn and get some attacks down onto Daredevil? Maybe I'm the Doom can finish him up. But as it stands, counter push on the turret here.
Yeah, looking for it right now. That's going to be a stuff. It's eating up I'm the Doom. The turret goes down, but Likodov might lose his life if I'm the Doom is able to get the poke.
One shot up in two.
Fountain's used. One shot is up in a second. We'll tag HF Guy. He wasn't the main target there. 7-0, but it's only 3,000, 2.5 in fact, separating these two teams, which is kind of a testament to Mouse to be 7 kills behind, but staying fairly even.
So a big part of that is the fact that they're able to keep farming well in the background. But the other thing is that A, they got a steal on the gold mine earlier, and B, on the side of Reliable Union, they are winning these fights by small enough margins that they're not able to convert a fight win necessarily into that many objectives. Like the only time they've done that has been onto the turret, which that's an even trade anyway. They'd already lost turret. It's difficult for them to win a fight so decisively and so quickly against things like Finn and Blackfeather that are very, if not durable, and in the case of Blackfeather, very able to escape bad situations and buy time and extend these fights. You see Reliable Union limping away often after a victory. Now with the Kraken on the map, though, this is one objective that if they do win a fight and capitalize on can be huge.
Well, they are looking for an engage here, but Justman's blocking up the stuffed. A good Crucible from Likodov will secure these life, not going to get pulled in. We see Apple returning back to the base to pick himself up an infusion, and Reliable Union sense this is an opportunity to find a kill. Diving on in, they do a bit of damage to Justman, but the one shot's going to tag HF Guy, and that is a thread in a needle right there through the camel. He went through the needle. Okay, that was some good analogies right there, AJ. I think I was
through the
camel.
camel. That one. Is that what you said? I'm really trying to understand.
So the biblical parable
but...
is that when you can thread a camel through the eye of the needle, then that is it's as easy for a rich man to enter heaven as a threading a camel through a needle.
I have a feeling that the colloquial use being just threading the needle stemmed from the fact that makes very little sense. Anyway, Justman, he's taking some damage here. Nice.
He's returning his Doom on the other side of the wall. That's a good stun. Can they continue this harass? Doom's trying to poke them down. The one shot won't connect. What's Doom got? He needs more Pierce, and you can see he's going towards the Broken Myth to try and help with the fact that everyone has a shielding, and Aegis is almost finished for HF Guy. Able to Rose offensive away. Looking very fancy with those moves. Reliable Union haven't been able to find a clean team fight yet. And Mouse haven't really been able to find enough damage to even get someone close to death.
Yeah, Mouse, it's a big problem for them in a lot of these fights because someone like HF Guy, for example, has a lot of sustain. Actually, Daredevil does too by virtue of his passive on the ultimate. So there are options for Reliable Union to kind of be threatening enough that Mouse have to run away just because of upfront damage. But then also, it's not easy for Mouse to just turn and commit to a fight because there's good sustain too. So it's really a very careful balance. Mouse need to find, poke, and then initiate. They need to not get initiated on and then poke. It sounds like it should be the same, but it's not.
Well, this is a good start for them, but it's going to be Apfel knocked completely out of position. Founder comes out. He's going to start trying to blow up HF Guy, but he just gets blown up himself. I Am the Doom has a task ahead of him. He has the chance to win this fight, but it just doesn't seem likely, and it looks like Justman will lose his life in the process as well. Likodov still has stuffed available. They didn't even use the Grumpjaw ultimate, but here they go. Doom will take damage. Likodov dives forward. Gonna find the stuffed as well. Will his team turn to try and blow up this Blackfeather? It doesn't seem like they will. And in fact, Likodov may lose his life. No. Daredevil able to zone. A Kraken take seeming likely. We have seen I'm the Doom already still one objective.
Apfel's got one shot when he spawns, and he's up in 2 seconds. It is possible. Reliable Union are not positioning around the Kraken very well here. We'll see if they go for it.
I'm the Doom. I'm the Doom.
They know
that was the right timing, but he was just out of range. Oh, that was so close.
Hangs down the Kraken, like its health is just.
Oh, that was the one shot connecting.
So close.
Yeah,
so close. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, nice by Reliable Union. They're pressuring on all the right ways this game. Compositionally, I think they've played pretty effectively, barring a brief window where they were maybe not pushing hard enough early game. They're certainly showing mastery of the heroes they're on. Likodov, we were talking about. Oh
nice
gosh,
I'm the Doom. Look at that damage Fountain already used, and that's going to be so huge. as Apple now has to try and survive. Good damage, catches out Daredevil, but now here comes Likodov. Oh, they stun him immediately.
So
that
close.
was interesting. And that's going to be Oblivion putting Apple to sleep and Daredevil taking him out. I'm the Doom struggling to escape. He's trying to, but he goes down in a double for Daredevil. And in a very surprising turn of events, this game in itself, Reliable Union is knocking on Mouse's door.
This is a bad spot to be in for Mouse. I don't really see an easy way back into the game. They've lost so much already. They are at such a deficit in terms of composition. It's hard for them to find windows. Reliable Union, they've still got a half health Kraken, right? Like they're able to pick up that turret quite easily. Mouse have a very thin ice that they're walking on. You know, if one mistake happens, it's likely to mean the game. That kind of pressure is not easy for any team, let alone one that had a breakout performance in week 1 and is suddenly looking at week 2 as if they might lose to a team that, you know, theoretically they should have head and shoulders advantage over. I think that the interesting thing for me and what I'm really seeing as innovative and you know, strong from Reliable Union is look at all his Grump Chop play has been fantastic. He's not overly committing for stuff. He's not trying to, like, we've seen a few times when we have a Grump Chop in the game, they kind of inadvertently bait their team. They just go for a stuff when it doesn't make sense, and they're not able to capitalize. So they fight, but they can't do damage during the stuff. They lose maybe someone even during that period. But look it up, he's not, you know, baiting his team in with the stuff. He's waiting to use it until it really makes sense, or it burns a reflex block so that Glaive can get an afterburn. It's strong stuff.
Very strong stuff, and I call it the Reliable Union effect, I think. The team that you sometimes don't expect to win, but somehow pulls it out through innovative compositions. Mouse, they are looking tiresome at this point. Distantly looking for poke, but almost doing no damage to the side. And now here we go, another fight breaking out as both Doom and Apple survive. Daredevil goes very low. The one shot's going to tag onto HF Guy. This is a chance for I'm the Doom to do a lot of work. They need to get Apple in there as well. He's out of energy. And I'm the Doom's going down. HF Guy just kind of provides this backline threat, the artillery of the Samuel, that kind of stops Mouse from hard engaging every time they get damage onto Daredevil. Justman going very low. This Drifting Dark is just so threatening. HF Guy can hit those Mouse and Verdicts. It's trouble. We still have a stuffed available for Likodov if he was to find a target.
Justman wishing this was like 1.7 Finn. He's got 7 seconds left on that Forced Accord. Would have been a nice time to use it if it was available, but not quite there. I like Daredevil picking up the Journey Boots. That is going to allow for him, sorry, the Tier 3 boots. It's going to allow for him to really stick on top of targets a bit easier. Ultimately, you know, there are ways that Mouse win fights, right? And it's if Reliable Union engage in the way that they did, very linearly, just heading directly onto the back line, they're going to step into an active camo inevitably in that situation. But Reliable Union, even when they make, you know, kind of a strange engagement, I think that last one was not very good, Mouse are not yet in a position gold-wise where they can capitalize. So Reliable Union's still definitely in the lead here. Rests on a very fine line.
And the Doom dances away. Likodov takes a bit of damage, but not too much. He's got those active living head armor. Here comes Daredevil. Apple knocked away from the fight. Here comes Likodov. Oh, they might be able to take Daredevil. No, the Founder comes out. One shot's going to hit Likodov. Can they get a kill? It's going to be the Oblivion pushing them backwards, but Mouse, they want to engage. Likodov gets tagged. The on-point finds its target, and now they're looking for HF Guy as well. Mouse have been so patient. 2 kills in 23 minutes. That is an incredible place to be in, and still fighting for a win here. At least fighting for their lives, it seems. The Kraken's going to be started up. HF Guy shows his face. And look at Daredevil. Daredevil has crit. Can he actually take this turret down? Yes, he can. Oh, he's going to go for the hero play. Whilst HF Guy tries to distract them. HF Guy goes down, but Daredevil has a minion wave. One shot doesn't connect, but Doom should be able to blow him up. Yes, he can, and they're going to take the Kraken for it. And very valiant play from Reliable Union, but all they've done is brought Mouse right back into contestant.
Wow. That was close. I appreciate and I admire going for that play, but it was maybe a little overly bold. Arguably, Daredevil could have just gone in right at the last second because he found a nice flank position, gone in the last second, stolen Kraken, or perhaps blown someone up. But going for the base end, he does at least get the turret. This opens up backdoor potential for later on. if they want to go for it. Let's talk about the fight that actually set that all up previously, though, because Apfel played so well. Active camo was not popped too early. You know, he just barely, probably quite close to the end of its duration, was able to find a stun on the back line, like retreating members of Reliable Union, because he used it and then did not try and pop it quickly. Now, I mean, Mouse off that play, I really do think it was Apfel making that play happen earlier on, are in serious, potential position to take home this game.
Yeah, it seems likely that they might have a chance to actually just finish it right now. Nakodov dives in, but this turret will go down, and the Kraken will just sit under half HP as it gets blown up by that turret. Nakodov, though, he's looking like he might fall down. Can I'm the Doom finally execute? Yes, he can. This could just be it now. They've lost their captain. They've lost their fountain. They've lost a lot. And that's going to be a stun, catching Daredevil out as the turret does fall. Kraken still standing, but does get blown up. But the turret is losing its life. Justman still standing. And Daredevil going to be targeted. Mouse, how have they done this? They are trying to take it all down, but it's not over yet. Apfel's been caught by Daredevil. And he's going to go down, but I'm the Doom manages to finish off the Vein Crystal. 25 minutes, 5 kills, 1 kill per 5 minutes, and they managed to take the game, AJ.
That was absolutely obscene. Forget Oblivion. That game, if you're Reliable Union, was the thing of nightmares. The absolute comeback from Mouse when Reliable Union, by right, should have had the win. Going into game number 2, they got to keep their mental game strong, because that is the kind of thing that would send me off the deep end.
I think that's the closest game Mouse has had so far here in the VG8. Let's see if it is just a one-time thing or if Reliable Union here are here to party. Either way, game 1 of this series goes to Mouse.
What an absolute treat that game was. That was unbelievable. Mouse managing to take it in the end, but by the skin of their teeth.
I don't really have words for that. I mean, how did they end up winning? It's absolutely baffling. There's no way Mousesports should win this game. Like, I don't understand. Like, what AJ was saying there is 100% true. I don't know how you come back from that as Reliable Union. I would just be completely tilted. If I had lost a game like that in ranked queue or anything, I'm closing the app, I'm putting my phone down, I'm going outside and doing something different for the rest of the day.
And it was just the fact that both Vein Crystals got down to such little HP, but then almost came back as well. Like, at the end, Mouse only just finished their Vein Crystal as well.
And it was a key fight at the 22-minute mark. I mean, Mouse was actually super behind, but Apfel had a lot better positioning. Glaive didn't land a good afterburn. He got CC'd like crazy with Finn, etc., and that's what turned the fight around for them. But Reliable was winning every single fight. I mean, Glaive really did well in terms of afterburning onto Kestrel. In this fight here, just watch afterburn here. He's perfect. See, he knows Finn's Quibble is down. Finn can't CC anymore, and completely gets onto the Kestrel, and she gets blown up right away. So really good job in positioning by Glaive.
Yeah, really good job positioning by Glaive, but also big mistake from Apfel. Had a reflex block at that time, didn't use it. You know you're going to be the target. Their best way of initiating is by jumping in on you with that Glaive. You have to reflex block that afterburn.
It definitely felt like earlier on in the game, Justman really wasn't having an impact. But in these later game team fights, he was just so tanky and obnoxious in that front line. They couldn't get past him to finish off the squishy carries.
Yeah, and what Justman needed to do is he needed to save his Quibble. So when Glaive dove in, he needs to Quibble him immediately and stop the afterburn from repositioning either Kestrel or Blackfeather. And you see in that last fight we just saw, that's exactly what he did. When Glaive went in, missed the afterburn, Quibbled him, and then basically won the fight there. And also, Grumpjaw is actually it's not that tanky. You know, he got deleted here by overextending, and that really cost them the game there because they took out the captain and was able to then push for the win. Because if Grumpjaw was still alive, Mousesports probably would have backed off.
Yeah, I mean, it was super close to that being the case as well. And honestly, I'm incredibly impressed by Reliable Union in that game, and I'm curious to see whether they can reenact this in the second game of the series, because if this goes 2-0 to Mouse now, I'm going to be heartbroken for Reliable Union, because this doesn't deserve to be a 2-0 to either team, in my opinion.
Yeah, you asked me at the start of the series, you know, if they were to get the Grace Batiste.
Yeah, would it close the gap?
That would be enough for them to be able to win the game, because clearly they don't even need that. They should have won this game by all rights.
Right,
I mean, HF guy, though, on that Batiste, he did so well. He got a kill on the turret and another kill between turrets. I mean, he's really, really good on that Samuel.
Yeah, for sure. His Samuel was really something to fear. But moving into this next draft then, where do the teams go from here? Because this wasn't like in the first series where we had things like Grace Batiste, for example, just rolling over. These were fairly even compositions. Like, how do you go into this with a fresh mindset?
Yeah, I think they need to switch up a little bit. The Black Feather Finn combo with Kestrel didn't work out too well, so Glaive might be a more priority ban. If you want to play Kestrel, maybe you should ban Glaive, because Glaive actually counters it really well, as we've seen at the SK matchup. So let's see how the draft is going to switch here a little bit.
It's kind of funny because it's not often that we say the team that just won the game needs to adapt their draft strategy, but they were definitely getting pushed around by Reliable Union.
Quite literally pushed around when it comes to the Glaive as well. But I've got to say, I'm curious to see how they are going to adapt on this one, because like I said on the intro, they only just won this by the skin of their teeth. It very easily could have gone the way of Reliable Union. Almost got that back door onto the Vein Crystal. It's going to be Baron and Vox banned away, meaning Mousesports now have the opportunity to lock in that Grumpjaw, which is what we saw from Reliable Union in the first game.
Yeah, they used it very well, but I feel like Reliable Union, if the Grumpjaw comes through, they can just grab themselves Glaive, maybe get a Catherine a little bit down the line, have the tools to really prevent the Grumpjaw from being able to do what it wants. Grace and Lyra both also open. They're going to go for the first pick. Lyra leaves the Grace available.
Yeah, kind of dangerous draft here. They tend to first pick Lyra and A-side, actually. They did that yesterday in their matchup. And then they rounded out with Gwen and Blackfeather in that composition. So
both SK and Dynasty did that in their first 2 games of their series as well, before Dynasty finally realized, okay, maybe this is first pick worthy. But Reliable Union, last game, they let the Grace go through, and they, both these teams did until the second ban phase, but this time, Reliable Union is going to go ahead and pick that up.
Yeah, so the Grace will be locked on in for Reliable Union. Very powerful pick.
Yeah,
this,
for sure.
Like, if the next game is as close, theoretically, as the first game, then that Grace would be enough, in my opinion, to tilt the balance in favor of Reliable Union.
Now we can do here Blackfeather potentially. Glaive with Grace is extremely strong, so Glaive is open still. There's a lot of options, and Batiste especially open. So I haven't seen Reliable play Batiste yet, so they may pick it and see if HF guy is able to play Batiste. If he can play, so he's going to go with Samuel since he performed so well in that last game. Which makes sense. So now Mousesports, they can play Batiste Lyra, which is extremely strong in the jungle. They may probably go for Blackfeather, since Andoom has been playing a lot of CP Blackfeather lately. So they may go with a CP Blackfeather and a Gwen here, because Gwen can put that slow on Samuel and they can dive him. So let's see what they decide here.
Yeah, still options available for them. And obviously with that Batiste wide open, I wouldn't be surprised to see that come on through. A little bit surprised to see Reliable Union not go for that, but I think just sticking themselves onto heroes they're more comfortable with. You don't want to put yourself out of your comfort zone just because a hero is good if you've not been practicing it and you don't know how to play around that. So looking at these final 2 picks, Bacon, what are you expected to come through?
There you go.
Well, I was going to say, I want to see, for the side of Mousesports, go first. They need something tanky. They need something that's going to be able to soak up a lot of this damage coming out from the Samuel, something that can be on the front lines. Blackfeather, not necessarily going to be filling that role, because yes, you can build very tanky with him, but more often than not, he's going to be going deep into the enemy team instead of being able to block up those shots from Samuel. So this is looking like it's going to be potentially a tough game for Mousesports, but the Blackfeather does do well against Grace.
Yeah, I think they're in round with Glaive here. Yep, Glaive is going to be called. Yep, so I did call the draft with Lyra, Gwen, Blackfeather. Yeah. Mousesports has played that. That's their comfort pick. That's their comfort draft. So they're going to be performing this really well. But on the second hand, we have Reliable Union with Samuel on HF guy and Daredevil on his Glaive, both extremely strong on both these carries. So this is going to be a very close game.
Yeah, you've got the 2 comfort picks and then the Grace coming through as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I want to touch on the fact that I'm the Doom seems to have transferred himself onto a Blackfeather. One trick now, he keeps on picking Blackfeather. That was already his most played at the start of today. And that's 2 more lock-ins for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's a comfort pick, if you feel it's the best hero for you and it's available, why not keep picking it? But we'll have to see if they can continue winning with it. It's gotten them 3 wins in a row. Why not?
Yeah, you're right. He's really strong with Lyra, and also he doesn't have any directly hard counters. He's just good in A-side draft in general. Like, there's nothing that seriously hard counters him.
Yeah.
If you think about any, like Taka can be hard counter with Petal, etc. So that's why on A-side, CP Blackfire makes a lot of sense. He's so flexible.
All right, we'll see if he can be flexible enough to finish the series 2-0. Let us know on social media if you believe in the reliable Union comeback. Hashtag Vainglory8 is the way to let us know who you are cheering for. But it's time to get on into this second game of the series and see whether this will be a sweep.
Man, it's never over, AJ, until the fat lady sings, and unfortunately for Reliable Union, she was just refusing to do her vocal warm-ups in the previous game. Mouse pull a miracle out of a hat, it seems, and now with Apfel on this Gwen, I'm feeling like he's going to have a little bit more impact than the previous game.
Yeah, I definitely felt like Kestrel did not look like his most comfortable pick. He had a moment towards the end of the game, which I actually think set up the comeback. So, you know, I'm only going to be so critical of it, but, you know, I do think that Gwen is something he's made look really, really strong. We were talking about it before the game, in fact. I also like the Gwen into the Grace. Not only because maybe you're able to use your ultimate to cancel hers, which, you know, can be very strong, but also Gwen has a lot of upfront damage in a fight, and that can stop Grace from being able to get a turnaround. Likadov is very far up here, though. We're seeing a lot of Grace invasion whenever it gets picked up in that captain role. She kind of does a solo mission.
Yeah, you're very tanky with your A. It provides shielding, which means you can easily withstand damage whilst you attempt to take away a camp. Also, you do a lot of damage with your empowered auto attack, but the Kodov may have bit off more than you can chew. Never mind. Here comes HF Guy with a Malice and Verdict and an empowered drifting dark. Oh, I'm the Doom with the shield, but Justman's going to be the target for the Samuel. Can I'm the Doom escape? It's going to be HF Guy finding the first blood onto Justman. It seemed likely he was always going to be the sacrificial lamb. And that was all facilitated by Likodov's invade, because I Am the Doom had not finished his back camps and so was behind on tempo.
Yeah, I mean, Blackfeather does not clear as quickly as a Samuel on first clear, so that's one of the things you got to keep in mind. Oh, I'm the Doom.
Do they really want this fight?
Not if they're going to use their heal before they're on top of their buttons.
Yeah, no, I feel like this is a massive error from Mouse. Something you just don't expect. Justman's going to go down before Apfel even gets a chance to come in and support, and great rotation from Daredevil means that Apfel's just going to be pushed right back. I'm the Doom will take damage. He's just been pushed out of the jungle so that HF Guy gets free farm more than anything. And if you force I'm the Doom to have no farm at the beginning of this game and you get this Samuel ahead, then I feel like you might just be able to snowball.
So it's to Apfel's credit that we haven't seen this yet, but one thing you got to realize about these invades is that they're 3 versus 2 every time, even though it doesn't feel like it. The reason being that Apfel, he cannot rotate in the same way that Glaive can. Like, Glaive is the gatekeeper for a rotation. You try and go down, you're going to get afterburned, you're going to get jumped on, or he'll just match your rotation and then do way more in an early game fight. So it's a little bit strange that Mouse is even trying to go for these engagements, to be honest. But on top of that, if they're going to, got to play it mechanically correctly. And Justman burned his heal too early and in the wrong spot in that fight. Like, at level 2, you have 2 abilities in auto basic attacks, right? You got to use those abilities to the best of their ability, their use. That means you have to actually put the heal where the Blackfeather's going to fight. This is behind it, so the heal is doing nothing for the vast majority of the fight. That doesn't work. So Mousesports, they've given up 2 early kills. Dalsy, they're obviously not out of it. We saw the most ridiculous comeback in the last game, but it does, I think, expose perhaps a weakness of this team that other teams might be looking at and saying, all right, you know, next time we play Mouse, we know what we need to do.
And I'm the Doom's going to struggle to escape from this one. He does dive in. He's looking for Likodov, but Likodov seems to be... he will fall down, okay. But it's HF Guy now the target. Apfel's rotating. So is Daredevil. Daredevil just kind of sitting in the lane. I wonder if the problem is Mouse or if it's their compositional picks. HF Guy's going for a very aggressive play here, and he's going to be completely spotted out. But the Drifting Dark might just be enough to 1v2 as he throws the Malice and Verdicts out. Yeah, there it is. Another kill goes his way. He is 3-0-0, and now Justman's in trouble. Apfel has been told to stay in lane and try and farm up. I I don't know why you don't pick Batiste, right? You know Samuel was picked second in the draft, okay? You pick Samuel on B side last so that he can't do what he's doing right now, which is just stomp your jungle and destroy you. You need to contest him. Oh, he's gonna fall. Okay.
There's a
Crystal Sentry can
there.
contest him, I guess, but
Don't
like
tell HF guy. There's a sentry.
I feel like you saw Doom play Batiste, right? And he was really strong on it. I don't know why you just don't pick Batiste into Samuel now that you know Samuel's up.
Well, I mean, Blackfeather, I don't think it's inherently a bad pick, right? And it does fight well early, but it does not fight well early into Grace Samuel. Like, that is just disgusting as a combo. It's really tough to make that argument. I feel like Batiste would have been the answer if they wanted to pressure in the jungle or you know, fight properly in the jungle early on. With the picks that they went for, I think, you know, the Blackfeather was always going to struggle, and maybe just sort of making peace with that fact is correct. You know, just letting Apfel be your carry, trying not to fight too aggressively. They found 1 or 2 kills here, but the momentum is certainly in Reliable Union's camp here.
And the experience and the gold as well. HF Guy is just ticks away from hitting level 6. He's got double the CS that I'm the Doom has in the jungle. And they're going to go in and look to try and steal even more away to get this Treant. Yeah, there it is, level 6. I'm the Doom. He is half a HP bar away from it, but if they can use his Oblivion before I'm the Doom gets the Rose offensive, then that's another opportunity open for Reliable Union.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point. Mouse right now starting to make a rotation down to the shop. I guess Apfel wants to spend some money maybe. They're trying to go together. He doesn't actually. I guess he's just covering their rotation. Interesting. But in any case, you know, so far, the pace has not been set in the same way as last game, which is perhaps the good news here for Mouse. You know, there have not been a lot of ganks in the lane, for example. Apfel is not the one suffering right now. The one suffering is I'm the Doom. And I would rather have him suffer than Apfel if I'm Mousesports, right?
What do you have against I'm the Doom? No, I'm joking. I appreciate that. I think if you keep this Gwen above water, then the Blackfeather will scale into the late game. So making sure that Gwen's early game isn't compromised definitely helps.
This is
connects. The Code off goes very low. He has the fountain, and I'm the Doom will get a fountain of his own to keep himself alive. The Code off though is so tanky, and he has his ult, so he can just heal himself back up if he wants to. Though the life string should do the work.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was an interesting attempt. They nearly picked up I'm the Doom. It would have been worth it if they did. But Apfel is scary right now, and if you commit too hard to a play, he will turn it around on you. That's the scary bit about sort of not putting the pressure in the lane. I don't know. I think Reliable Union do need to keep pushing the tempo. In the mid game with this Shattered Glass build of I'm the Doom and Apfel now having a tension bow, they can win fights. You know, they just need Portal and then they're good.
I'm waiting to see when that happens right now. I believe it's possible. I believe in Mouse. But I'm incredibly impressed more than anything by Reliable Union and their ability to take such early game leads. We've seen this from plenty of teams and come from Challenger Series, but I'm the Doom does get popped very low. Drifting Dark, Mouse and Verdict, look at the damage that's flying out. Justman has his fountain available. He's also stacking those O-cards for the healing.
I'm the Doom was trying to be a little fancy there.
A little bit.
Going for the ult with the
Ooh, look at the damage on Apfel. They forced a fountain.
That was nice. They did force a fountain. There's still an ult.
They're going to go further. They're looking for this. This is risky, I feel. Apfel's just going to die here, I think. I don't think he escapes, but that's a bright ball. Keep him alive for now. Apfel will get against the wall, and he will lose his life. Now I'm the Doom, trying to get to the other side of the Crystal Sentry. He will just about survive. Hey, Reliable Union, early game is so strong. And HF Guy's Samuel has been incredibly impressive. One criticism that Challenger Series teams sometimes get is they get massive leads in the early game, but don't quite know how to close out against these higher class teams. And perhaps that's currently what Reliable Union's problem is, and something they need to learn.
So here's a couple of things about that last fight that we didn't get a chance to touch on, though. I'm the Doom missed 2 on points, right? So that's both, you know, a sort of question mark on how he's doing right now, but also something to say, well, maybe Mouse could have done better in that fight. But in addition to that, Ligadov didn't even need to use his ultimate. That is massive. I mean, Mouse, they look like maybe that Beyond Points could have been the difference maker. I don't think they could have been. I think that fight shows us that Mouse are not ready to fight yet, because if Grace ultimate comes down there, there's no way it goes well for Mousesports.
Malice and Verdicts from HF Guy. Chunking Justman right down to half HP. I'm the Doom, gonna get afterburned out of position, and the Rose offensive gonna connect. That's a good stun onto Daredevil, but he gets that kill, the divine intervention from Likodov, and it means the fountain is still available for use. They have Reliable Union, so please it. HF Guy has that Drifting Dark available and can look for another siege potential, really start to stack up the damage as he goes for it now. I'm the Doom taking a huge chunk of that to the face. Look, right down to just a percentage of HP, and they're going to pretty much have to give up this turret, but HF Guy is greedy. I think this perhaps is a problem, because if they focus on the turret, then they get it. But HF Guy decides, I'm going to push this Black Feather back further, and instead of pushing objectives forward, just try and keep one person out of the game.
Apfel needs one more item, and then Justman should just portal in, and they should all burst down HF Guy. That's how
They're
I
going
think
to go for it now. Yeah, look at this. Here is... maybe not. Those Malice and Verdicts. They are insane. He is very close to hitting his broken myth as well. Just 100 gold away from it.
Okay,
That's
so
a scary
speaking
thought.
of gold, let's not forget that Reliable Union does have a decent gold lead right now. You know, they've been capitalizing on things across the map. But the kills have stagnated, and that's certainly worth noting. Last game that did not happen. Oh, man.
Daredevil's going to lose his life. Just overcommitted to the area, and I think he tried to go out too late with the afterburn there. So that is an open window opportunity. Well, no, it's not. It's Mouse opening a window and getting some fresh air to kind of chill with for now.
Well, they just want a breather, right? Like, that's what that does. Because Daredevil, whenever he's on the map, you got to worry about it. You got to think, okay, you know, maybe he's going to jump in. Maybe he's got Grace backing him up. It's great dive buddies. Honestly, the fact that Daredevil went for a play without Grace is what he got punished for there. This time round, you got Grace nearby. Things are probably going to look pretty different. Apfel, you know, we need him to be able to position well in these fights. He's got to get some good damage down.
See what they can do here. HF Guy starting to get ready for that onslaught. That is the Malice and Verdict, and I'm the Doom taking a lot of damage. Oh, he's going to just get bursted right down, but they're looking for HF Guy as a return. Divine Intervention will keep him alive. The Fountain as well, and HF Guy is practically back up to full. And for whatever it's worth, Reliable Union now going to look to take this turret, and Justman and Apfel, I think, are just going to walk away and allow it to go down.
I'm the Doom. That was... He thought, incorrectly, that he would not get bursted down during the knock-up from Likodov, right? He had Rose Offensive available. There is a huge wind-up on that ability, so he had plenty of time to use it. If he had used Rose Offensive into the Mustache Bush, HF Guy would have died right as Apfel moved forward, and that would have been a very different fight. But, you know, I understand him wanting to keep it for the follow-up. He's like, okay, I'm going to barely get out of here. You know, I'm going to bait them in. I'm going to make them use a load of cooldowns. I'm going to barely get out of the knock-up, and then I'm just going to Rose Offensive out of there. That was his plan. He did not expect that much damage to be coming through. You got to realize that, you know, Likodov, for example, still does good damage regardless, just by virtue of her perk and stuff like that. As a result, I mean, Mouse, they give up a turret for that one mistake. Reliable Union to get a lot on the map because of that, and that really does make it hard for Mouse to find these engages they're looking for.
Ace's High doesn't connect. Here comes Daredevil from behind, and Apfel's just been left alone. He is going to struggle to get away from this. He goes down. Daredevil speeds away, and that is just going to be Mouse looking to try and escape this glaive, it seems. Daredevil over the wall, Justman happy to take the fight. A 1-for-1 isn't a bad result for Mouse at this point. It definitely stops Reliable Union from getting anything from these kills.
Yeah, actually 1-for-1's pretty good for Mousesports, because I think they want to keep this game moving to a later point. Overall, I'm the Doom. You can see him starting to hit a bit of a spike in terms of power. He was able to do a great deal of work on HF Guy in that one. But, you know, at the same time, one thing I'm curious about is the way Justman is playing these fights. We've seen, I think, almost no arcane passages, if not 0 arcane passages this game. There is a window for them to go together onto HF Guy, rather than I'm the Doom being the only one. If they stay together, Apfel won't get blown up on the backline by a flank from someone like Daredevil, or even Likodov jumping on the backline and knocking him up. So Mouse, they need to play very smartly as a team.
HF Guy's just finished his Eve of Harvest now. 3 damage items on this Samuel, already such a threat. And now he has added sustain with the damage that comes out of those Malice and Verdicts. It's a scary, scary time now, as they're going to have to blow him up. Justman's got a little bit caught there, but will be able to walk away, heal himself back up, it seems. Good poke coming out of I'm the Doom. He's finished his Broken Myth now, has the Pierce, but he needs to be hitting those on points or else there is no point. He gets pushed out a little bit. The Bright Bulwark will prevent any re-engage. Mouse still being threatened by HF Guy. He has 7 Broken Myth stacks. He is sustaining, but it looks like Reliable Union are going to start to wander back towards the gold mine area.
We've hit the tipping point. You can see it from how much damage I'm the Doom is managing to get down onto the members of Reliable Union. If he lands consecutive on points and gets Broken Myth stacks, Reliable Union don't have good odds in the fight, I would say, now that we've hit the stage in the game. Also, Age is picked up for Apfel, so that's big for getting him away from the backdoor attempts. Backdoor is the wrong word. The flank attempt from Daredevil, right? But at the same time, they need to have good positioning and good vision on the map to utilize the power spike they're now hitting. Currently, Reliable Union is shutting down any attempts at that. Here comes Daredevil.
Good block from Apfel does mean that he doesn't get stunned, but the Aces High doesn't connect. It's going to be Reliable Union looking to re-engage, it seems. Lots of damage down onto Apfel, and I'm the Doom as well. And energy depleted from Apfel, perhaps more important than anything else, is that he doesn't have any energy regen, and he is going to be lacking on his abilities. I'm the Doom manages to walk away, but Justman just gets bursted down. He used nothing. No Atlas, no Crucible, no Fountain. A turret falls, and at 16 minutes, Reliable Union is just going to try and take this Kraken.
So Apfel needed to probably put pressure on the heroes there. He was trying to kill minions when they went under the turret, which I think was not necessary. The turret was going to go down regardless of minions dying or not. You can always get the minions later. You need to be applying damage to look it up. Also, missing, and this is the initial problem, missing the Aces High was big. That's your counter engage on the side of Mouse. When someone overextends or tries to dive your backline and can't get the kill, Mouse should always be able to turn around the fight at this late stage in the game by landing Aces High, or at the very least by forcing out a reflex block and making it difficult for someone like Daredevil to commit to a consecutive fight. They did not do that, though, and missing the Aces High when your teammate thinks it's going to hit means that they overextend, they take too much damage. Reliable Union in a great spot with the Kraken pushing onto the base of Mouse. We've seen this before, though, Dalsy. It went all the way to the wire, and Mouse came back. They might be able to do it again. Just got to play very smartly here.
Yeah, certainly do. We'll have to see if they can do so. Likodov does dive in, but this turret is just being bursted right down by Daredevil and the crit that he has available to him. Tornado Trigger, Tension Bow, and he's going for a Monocle. That's a good stun onto Daredevil, but he's not the main target at this point. And look at Apfel and I'm the Doom having to go back, heal up, and Justman's going to join them. This is going to be a second turret losing its life. Can Mouse blow up HF Guy is the question. No, they cannot. And that's just going to be a knock-up. And now it looks like it's just going to be death for the side of Mouse. Doom falls, Apfel finds HF Guy, but he loses his life to Daredevil. And that is a GG right there to Reliable Union. Taking down Europe's #1 team from last week in this series takes us to a Game 3.
That game was rough for Mousesports, but it was a mixture of misplays and perhaps kind of a dicey draft. You know that Grace plus Samuel is disgusting. You cannot try and fight it early. And later on to the game, skill shots. You got to hit your skill shots on points, Aces High. They were all missing. Where is the Arcane Passage to go in and burst down HF Guy? This was not the Mousesports that we've been seeing in most of these other games, Dowsett.
Ban Vox and put Apfel in a position where he can't seemingly hard carry fights. It's a tough time for Mouse as they are being outdrafted in both games, it seems, by Reliable Union. Heading to a Game 3, we'll have to see how this series unfolds.
Game 3, here we go. PT Lamb, eat your heart out. We have a new glaive here in the neighborhood. Daredevil has been on a rampage. He has been so on point with this glaive, landing basically every afterburn and starting the game off for his team.
Yeah, really doing well on this glaive, but also HF Guy on the Samuel has been on fire as well. I have to give so much credit to Reliable Union just for being able to stay mentally in this series after that first game. Huge credit to them, to their mental fortitude, proving that, at least when it comes to their gameplay performances, they are reliable.
Yeah, they have been incredibly reliable.
And just super impressive. I mean, this is Mousesports' comfort draft. I mean, this is their comp they played last weekend. But it shows you when the meta has shifted and the new hero comes out, you gotta adapt. And Grace, that live first pick is not working out. The Grace first pick has worked out.
Yeah.
So these teams need to change, or else they become a top team and they become now a team that is struggling against a former challenger team.
Yeah, and one of the big things about this game as well is we mentioned Grace's hard engage, but also her pick potential is insane.
Yeah, it sets up so many plays for the rest of the team, especially when you pair it with this glaive.
Yeah.
I mean, the Grace glaive, Grace Batiste glaive, whatever combo you have, it's like there's so many pick opportunities.
It's like the second someone is out of position, it punishes them so hard for it immediately.
Yeah, and you have to pay attention to Grace's Holy Nova. I mean, he landed so many Holy Novas on Lyra, on BF, on Apple, and that really just changed the dynamic of the fight there. As soon as they're stunned, they get locked into place. Glaive just walks up and starts cleaving them to death. I mean, really well played. I mean, these heroes are super strong. Glaive, and like I said, Glaive and Grace is an extremely strong combo you do not want to give an enemy team.
Yeah, and now going into this third game, I'm really curious about Mouse's mental state right now, because they've had some very clean games across the course of the Vainglory8 so far. This is the first time a team has really challenged them and really taken them to the edge right now. In both games, it easily could have been reliable unions. The second game was. Now going into game 3, are they going to be in a good state mentally? Are they going to be able to come back from this personally?
I think they'll be okay. They have gone to 3 games already this season. They did it in the semifinal last week, actually. So it should just be business for usual as them, as long as they adapt their draft. Like Sweet just said, you put some focus on that Grace. Do not let that go over. They're going to be on B side, so I feel like they need to ban that.
Okay, so looking at the draft then, is it just the Grace we need to focus on? Is there any other major factors that we've got to be looking out for?
I think they need to treat HF guys Samuel as a huge threat. I mean, he's winning jungle with it. You saw both games, he snowballed the jungle and won it against I'm the Doom's CP Blackfeather. And that's something that they need to consider. They need to either take it away or ban it, honestly.
Or pick something that counters it. Like, pick a Batiste, pick a Taka, pick something that can deal with it.
Well, we'll see what their answer is going to be coming on into this one. Reliable Union back on the A side of the draft, and we'll see how they're going to decide to play this one out.
Yeah.
Actually taking a long time on the first
They're going to ban Vox. They're going to ban Vox and first pick Grace, because Mousesports is going to ban Baron.
All right. Strong prediction. We'll see if it's going to come to play. I can believe it. It's not often that you're wrong with your draft predictions.
It makes the most sense because Vox on Apple is just too strong, and if they hand it over to him, they're gonna struggle, I feel. Because Vox is going to Glaive, all the carries that they've picked, Vox is pretty good into. So they're taking their time. I don't know if they're there yet, but
I think they're considering not just the first ban, but also the rest of the draft. Like, okay, if we ban Vox, what happens throughout the draft? What are the next bans going to be? How do we build this entire plan? They are going to go for the Vox ban. Now, Mousesports, they have to answer. Are you forced into banning Grace here? Like, is that
Grace or Baron?
I think it should be Grace. Yeah, they're gonna go ahead and ban the Grace. That's the right call here.
Yeah.
Because we've already seen them be able to get. I mean, reliable union, that is, be able to dominate Mousesports with the Grace pickup.
They're going to take Baron here for sure. If they don't, that's a really risky draft if they do not take Baron, because he's such a strong carry in the game right now. And I've never seen Apple play Baron, so they're going to take Grumpjaw instead of Baron, so that leaves Baron open for Mousesports completely. So is Apple going to pick up this Baron here, because I have not seen him play Baron yet. That's pretty exciting.
And this is like a perfect example of a meta shift, right? If the Baron is locked in, suddenly you end up with the 2 normal bans ending up being 2 normal picks. It is going to be Arden in the end, though. So another round of bans available, and that means Baron may well not get through.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very high likelihood that Baron does not get picked up. I know, looking at Apfel, his main account for his ranked games of late, he has 2 Baron games total played, so not a hero that he plays a ton of, at least on his main. Who knows what he's got on, if there's any other accounts there.
That's a shame. They need to ban Lyra here, because Lyra into Arden is good. Lyra with Grumpjaw is really strong. Adagio Grumpjo is really
Yeah.
strong. I'm not sure if
But you
Reliable
can
Union
take
plays that.
Adagio if you really don't want to let them have it.
Yeah, I mean, that could work too, but Idris will be banned. Idris is a huge priority ban right now in EU. They feel like he's too strong, but I feel like there's a lot of hard counters to Idris. You know, as long as you engage on him, he's actually pretty squishy.
Yeah.
So let's see what Reliable Union. Reliable Union in the past has banned Lyra in the second phase, but I don't think they'll ban Lyra here. They may just ban Baron actually, but I don't think Apple plays Baron. So let's see if they're gonna actually take the Baron off the map here.
It's going to be a curious decision from Reliable Union. They are running out of bonus time though, so they've got to get their plan together and figure
they
out
are gonna
how
ban
they
the
are
Baron.
going to do this.
That makes sense.
Baron's gone. Now Mousesports with the next pick. What are we expecting?
I would like to see. I would assume they're going to go for Mousesports a Black Feather just because
They're gonna take BF
that's
or
what
Samuel
they've
here.
been running so frequently. Black Feather, Samuel, maybe Batiste. Who knows if they actually play the Batiste? But I feel like they're going to go for those comfort picks.
Oh, Kestro
Okay.
gets picked.
So the early game for Mouse has actually been quite weak in the first two games. Do we think the final pick needs to be something that actually can fight back in the early game a little bit?
Yeah, potentially. I think they may go with Captain Grumpjaw here and go with Glaive and Samuel again, which is a great pick into this composition here. Yep, they're probably going to do what they did. It worked well for them game one. They just can't throw and lose the late game fight here. And then Mousesports will probably round it out with a Black Feather pick here. So they're going to go with Glaive and Grumpjaw Samuel, which is a very strong combination actually, and they executed that composition really well.
So if they do end up going with the Black Feather as the final pick for Mousesports, what do we think about this Arden being there instead of the Finn? How does that match up to game one?
It's sort of similar. It's a lot of protection for only one of your carries this time. Doesn't have as much lockdown as the Finn, but it's a lot more mobile. You can do a lot more to get in, and if a target does get afterburned, you can then Vanguard onto them to give them a little bit of extra escape if they are the one
Dive
that
in
gets
with
chosen.
them, I suppose. Yeah. At least there'll be a little bit more support there, but the Kestrel there now looking to round out this composition. The Glaive once again going over to the likes of Daredevil, so a lot of power for Reliable Union.
That's a
Rona.
nice and interesting pick there.
Throwback to last season.
Yeah, this is going to be intriguing. We saw a bit of Rona from the American players at the Unified Live as well. A lot up in the air here. I mean, what do we make of this composition from Mousesports? Like, how does this play into the game?
Yeah, if Rona jumps into Samuel, gets a Vanguard, gets the ultimate off, she can delete and destroy Samuel really quickly. And Rona counters Glaive. She beats Glaive because Glaive can't fight when she's ulting with her Whirlwind. So as long as they execute the comp nicely, and On the Doom's on TP Kestrel, which I really like, they could probably potentially win this game.
There's also the fact that it kind of eliminates a target for the afterburn, because if you afterburn Rona into your team, she is thrilled to be there. So it's one of those situations where you have to be even more careful with your afterburn target selection. And like you said, hopefully it is going to be that CP Kestrel for I'm the Doom, which we've seen this season. We've heard so much about. It's really, really strong.
Yeah, we've got I'm the Doom on a comfort pick. We've got a potential stroke of genius in that Rona pick to go against the Glaive. Maybe Mouse have cracked the draft here. We're going to have to find out for this one. Don't forget to get involved in social media as well. Hashtag Vainglory8 is how you can let us know who you're supporting, whether you want Mouse to win or whether you want Reliable Union to get back on into this series. I mean, get back into this series. They just won the last game, so I feel like they've got the momentum
to win the
right
series.
now. Exactly, yeah, if you want them to take this one home. But, I mean, looking across the compositions then, going back to Reliable Union specifically, how do they play around this Rona? Like, what is the protocol now that you're going against this different composition?
If they land a good afterburn on Kestrel and get her out of position, they're going to win every fight. Kestrel has to position perfectly this game. And I feel like the matchup is going to be in jungle. If HF guy can snowball and get ahead, then they have a really good advantage. However, I'm the Doomed. If he is able to outpoke and outplay HF guy, they're going to basically take this game home because his Kestrel outranges everyone on that team right now.
And that is a huge question as well, because, that has been a big contention, but it's time to get on into this game. So let's pass it over to our casters and get into game 3.
Really, really enjoying the drafts this series. It's unexpected. I don't think we had Reliable Union pegged to take such dominant games towards Mouse. And, even in their Game 1 loss, Reliable Union were the dominant team and the team that I think many people thought deserved to win.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. Honestly, Mouse are kind of lucky to be here in a Game 3, and that's not something you'd expect to say heading into it. Let's talk about their draft, though. This is definitely a departure from the meta. It's something a little bit new. That being said, we're on week 1 of 2.6, so who knows? Maybe Rona's really good, and everyone's been keeping a tight lid on it, or hadn't found it yet. I'm pretty interested to see how Apple plays it. It does seem like a hero where he's going to have potential, for outplays, etc. This is why I like to see Apfel on. And against Daredevil in lane on this glaive, he can certainly compete on a much more level playing field than some of the games we saw earlier on where Daredevil was just able to bully around Apfel. For example, on that Gwen, it was really hard for him to make plays. Here comes a fight early on, though. Both these captains helping out top lane.
Vanguard was like really well timed because it soaked up a lot of the burst damage that the Grumpjaw came out. What Mouse have done with this draft is they've completely changed the dynamics of the fight that was game 1, where they were kiting, hoping that they could poke people down and then re-engage the fight. Instead, they have a gauntlet available to them, and they have a Rona who's going to provide so much backline threat. So if Reliable Union do want to go for fights, then actually what Mouse do is they either re-engage instantly with the gauntlet with the Rona, or they're the ones aggressing and creating the fights rather. Either way, I'm very happy to see that they didn't contest the central tree and give up kills early to HF Guy.
Me as well. I'm also happy to see the Reliable Union. I mean, they are an assertive team. I think that's a great way of describing them. They basically said, all right, we're going to play the bush. Kestrel's not there, we're going. And they just did. They just took the sentry. I think that was smart. As a result, Mouse is starting to fall behind a little bit in the early game. Obviously, it's not a great deal yet. But if HF Guy finds openings to fight in the jungle, you can bet that if Mouse isn't careful, things will get out of hand kind of quickly. We've seen that before in this series.
No, we're seeing it now as Doom does get caught by the Malice and Vertex, but he's an early boots purchase to try and keep himself nice and safe in the jungle. Justman taking a lot of poke here. Is he okay is the question. Doesn't seem like he is. No, first blood gonna go to HF Guy again. And Mao's just not respecting the damage of this Samuel.
This has been, what, 3 games in a row?
Yep.
Right? When do you learn? Mouse are not responding to what Reliable Union is bringing to the table. I'm the Doom. He's going to try and steal away some back camps. It looks like, actually, he is going to get away with it. That's pretty lucky for him. Using stealth just to navigate away. Did HF Guy see him?
No.
Oh, man. That was kind of close.
HF Guy's kind of really wondering, like, did I do these a different way? Like, are these about to respawn? Did they get stolen? Like, that's why he's waiting around right now, because he actually thinks that his camp is about to respawn. Soon enough, he's going to realize that a cheeky Kestrel had come by, and this is the point. He's like, where is she? Like, it's very, very funny watching, because he only took one of the camps, and it was just before any visual effects could have been there.
Ooh.
In the lane, Apfel gets afterburned in out of position, but will be able to jump away. I'm the Doom's going to come in and try and provide a bit of return fire, push Daredevil back so that Apfel can heal up with his Book of Eulogies. But this has been a very interesting start to the game.
It has. I'm a bit concerned for Mousesports, although hang on,
the damage onto HF Guy.
Ooh.
I'm the Doom's out of energy. I don't think he's going to be able to get the kill. Oh, okay. I forget, this is I'm in the Doom and playing Kestrel, so I don't know where.
When you get some adrenaline and the cost of those goes down, it can make it possible to go for a chase like that. Look at the gatekeeper of the jungle, though. He's going to be looking to stop and invade.
Jungle has intensified.
So tanky with the living armor, man. You have to really stack it down. You have to be auto-attacking as a team. Look at Apfel. He's actually been knocked back out of position. I'm the Doom's going to come up. Can they turn the fight? Daredevil under his turret, and the Glimmer shot going to connect. It's I am the Doom playing Kestrel. You wouldn't expect anything different. And now Mouse seems to be in the driving seat of this game for the first time of the series.
Yeah, I like that they're starting to apply some pressure. They're finding windows of opportunity to make plays. HF Guy does not want to let this continue, though. He's got some good damage right now.
He does, and the Malice and Vertex are going to take I'm the Doom down, it seems. One more, and there it is. Gets the return fire, and he's going to look to try and steal away these backs. Crystal Sentry's there. Justman.
Double kill.
Okay, he just goes down.
I got nothing, man.
I don't know what else to say about that. Apfel here, I don't know why he turned around. Perhaps he thought that Glaive was close, but there was no way the Glaive was close. He just could have chased HF Guy, but he decided not to. The Crystal Sentry was on his side. And now, whatever driving seat Mouse was in before, well, they've definitely exited that. AJ, I know that you said you have nothing. No need to become a mute, though. We do still value your color commentary.
I know. I was just committing to the play. You know, I was like, all right, I got nothing. I
respect that.
In all seriousness, though, you know, that was an interesting turnaround from Apple. I know you're mentioning it. I think he made the read that Drifting Dark was coming back up, and I do think potentially, especially with Apple not being level 6, that HF Guy would have been able to find the kill during that kite, because the sentry was on the wrong side of that wall, not able to back Apple up properly. Justman is my big question mark right now, though. Like, other members of Mouse are playing smart in the situations which are a bit dicey. Justman is just way out of position again and again. He's got to work on it. He's really got to tighten up his play. If things get out of control because your captain keeps dying and giving away gold, then your carries, no matter how safe they're playing and how smart they're playing, will not be scaling at the same rate as your opponents.
We'll have to see how that scaling game kind of affects this, because Rona scales so well into the late game, becomes such a threat, and with the build that is available to Rona, double sustain, it's so tricky to actually get her down. You're going to have to get a poison shiv on Daredevil, and he hasn't really wanted to build that yet. Look at the damage onto him. Has hit level 6, but he's forced to use the Afterburn defensively. One shot unlocked, doesn't connect onto Daredevil. The Shadow Glass would have meant that was a huge portion of his HP bar gone if that was to hit.
It's really difficult for Apfel and Man to make plays in the lane. I almost feel like maybe they could afford to be a bit more aggressive in jungle, though, because I'm the Doom is in a nice spot. You know, he does have the ability to back up the plays. Whereas if you try and jump on Daredevil, he's just going to have to burn away, at least until you have the Gauntlet, which, you know, Justman is about halfway to level 6. Oh, that's a lot of AoE.
Oh, look at how split HF Guy is from his team. What is this position? The Oblivion goes out. It does put Apfel to sleep, but there was just no way that he survived that. What was the point of coming along when he knew that Mouse were going to be stacked up all together in the bush, because he saw them rotate there? Really misplay from HF Guy. He's been a star this entire series. And at the moment, we'll talk about it later, Apfel gets swallowed up. He's going to get one shot to try and supply a bit of cover fire, but he just gets completely annihilated.
I love how we saw HF Guy use the in-game chat to be like, we need vision, and then he like walks into the tri-bush and instantly dies.
This is my favorite change in 2.6.
That we can see the communication of the teams in spectator mode. It just makes it for me. But all right, so let's talk about what else happened since that moment. Apfel going a bit too deep. That was a very bold play by him. You're not a level 12 Rona with a lot of lifesteal. You're not going to be able to just go in and heal up through these dives. So they've really got to be careful about committing under an objective like that. If they want to fight in the jungle, I think they can 3v3. I really do. HF Guy again trying to flank. Look at this.
No, he's just getting caught out, isn't he? Goes down. Not sure what actually killed him there, but he goes down. That was a little bit weird. Either way, it is going to be Mouse coming into lane. They've got a Gauntlet. Can they catch Daredevil is the question. He is going to use the Afterburn defensively. Dustman not looking for the proactive play, but now with HF Guy down and an opportunity to put some glimmer shots onto this turret, we'll have to see Mouse can actually get enough damage down to make this work. HF Guy's gone to his backs here, so that opens up even more opportunity for Mouse, but they don't know this, so they might just fall back regardless.
HF Guy's really trying to be the playmaker for his team, and you gotta realize, like, mentally after the last 2 games, he's in that place, right? Like, he's been making plays, he's been the one pushing the tempo, so going into this game, I get that he wants to keep doing that. But like he said, you need vision, right? Like, you need to be able to know that if you go for the flank, you're not going to get collapsed on. He's miles away from his team. As good as Afterburn is, it can't jump the entire height of that Kraken pit in the middle. He's not going to be able to back you up, lick it up in the same spot. I'd like to see the split maybe just be Glaive trying to make the flank. Maybe HF Guy can just push the lane, or alternatively, you have HF Guy and Lick It Up both go for the flank below, and Daredevil push the lane, because Daredevil can get away. He has Afterburn. HF Guy, if he gets cut out of position...
Ooh, the one shot... Oh! That is the least HP I've seen anyone ever. HF Guy just about escapes. And this is going to be Mouse looking to try and push the turret in. Let's see what Daredevil can do. He's going to have to walk straight into a I'm the Doom trap here. They've got the Gauntlet available. This turret's just going to go very low. Will they go for the engage, or will they just try and focus the turret? Seems strange that Mouse are playing so defensively when they know that the the Samuel is out of the picture for some time, but perhaps respecting the stuff that Likodov can use to really push someone out of position.
They don't really need to respect the stuff that much when Justman, I mean, he was on the ball there. He used Vanguard to go right in front of it. It would have not landed onto a good target. If you landed on Justman, Apfel, and I'm the Doom are just going to blow someone up. Mouse maybe being overly cautious. That's a first for the series. They've been way too aggressive for a lot of it. I do like that they're adapting to the mistakes that I think they've been making over the course of the series. Reliable Union, they're still in a good spot though. Let's not forget that they are a team comp that, you know, with the Samuel and the Glaive are still going to be going through kind of a long power spike all throughout, you know, 5 to 15 minutes. They're going to be doing a lot of work. Apfel needs a bit longer to really make it happen. Look it up. He's going
to land onto Apfel. He's not going to really care too much. He could just sustain through the damage inside this Gauntlet War. He is going low, but jumps away, and that's going to be on the Doom, taking down Daredevil, looking to escape the Oblivion. He's going to reposition and look for HF Guy next, it seems, as he's right behind. Look at this trap he's setting up. Can he stun? Will they walk into it? No. Oh, Likodov does, and that will be him going down. Now HF Guy with the Malice and Verdict, the Drifting Dark, it's empowered. He can do a lot of damage. He's going to find himself a double kill, it seems, as Justman tries to escape but cannot. What a turnaround for Reliable Union, turning a fight that was just so seemingly in favor of Mouse into perhaps even a turret take.
Sometimes you luck out and you're sort of random tapping to make it hard for skill shots to hit you because, you know, no one can predict where you're going, ends up dodging you.
Oh my gosh, no, HF Guy, no! He's gonna die! Yeah, he does! The turret survives! Oh, wow.
Wow, that was really close. Apfel, I mean, good job defending the turret. That does mean that maybe a counter push with members of Mouse making their way in could come through, go for the turret. Apfel wants to set up a fight, in fact.
Yeah, I'm the Doom's here. Double Shadow Glass picked up already. He's got the double energy battery, so he has the sustain, and these turrets are going to take so much damage. Look at that, just flying on out. Incredible stuff so far from the side of Mouse to be keeping up tempo with Reliable Union, because so far this series has been very one-sided towards Reliable Union with a very unfortunate throw, but oh, Daredevil! One shot! Does connect. Lovely stuff from I'm the Doom.
The trick there is always, if you're on a direct trajectory for the turret to move, like, up more quickly so that you don't have to force yourself in that position. Tough spot for Daredevil, though. He goes down to HF Guy. Oh
god, the damage onto HF Guy. He just gets blown up by Doom, and Apfel finishes the job. This is going to be the turret finally falling, as Mouse will have no reason not to commit to taking it. Will they go for the gold miner as well, try and push their lead is the question. Seeming like I'm the Doom's going to at least get some energy from one of these treants, and yeah, there's the gold miner being started up. They do have Daredevil and Likodov available to push on in, but there's already traps being set up by I'm the Doom, and that's going to stun both of them. This gold miner can be stolen, and it's going to be secured though by a one-shot. Likodov loses his life. Great gauntlet placement by Justman. If they dived on in, then they couldn't steal the gold mine, so it was a fool's errand to try.
All right, so there's some modality to Reliable Union's composition. They can play this in a number of ways. The way they've been playing up until this point is we spike earlier than you, we're going to be, you know, aggressive and try and pressure you. And that's fine, but it started to backfire. So they need to turn on the other mode. They need to say, all right, we got a Samuel, we're going to kite you, we're going to use Glaive to peel. I think it's time that they really swap up their plan because, you know, 2 fights in a row, 3 fights in a row, things are not going well for them. And Mousesports seem to have found their groove in addition to that. You need to mess with what they know they can get away with right now. Although,
ooh, Justman walking away. Active camos traps there. Will they step into it? No, they're stepping around it. And that's going to be this Kestrel swallowed up by Likodov. He gets spat out. I'm the Doom repositions. And HF Guy's going to run straight into the trap. He gets destroyed, but the one-shot channel from Doom ends up being his demise as the ace comes through for Reliable Union.
So I was talking about swapping up your strategy. You don't need to when you're gifted a pick onto, you know, the captain of your opponent's team. Justman. What's going on, Delcy? This whole game, he has been massively out of position. You gotta wonder if maybe this is sort of a nerves thing. You have this great performance in week 1, you look really good on day 1 of week 2, you're like, all right, we're good, and then Reliable Union comes out of nowhere. Maybe he just feels a little bit under pressure. Whatever it is, Justman needs to tighten up. I said it earlier, but your team just got ahead. That's the worst time to throw it all down the drain again. You know, like Mouse just hit critical mass. They just hit the point where Reliable Union had the onus on them to change up what they were doing, and they threw it away there. So Mouse still in a strong position, but with the spikes Reliable Union just picked up, they do have to be a little bit more careful. We've got an infusion now into Daredevil 2. They're going to be looking to fight sometime soon.
Yeah, here we go. Mouse starting to set up some traps. Do get spotted out by these flares from Likodov. I'm the Doom separated from Justman, but the Vanguard going to bridge the gap there as Mouse are trying to channel Reliable Union into a dangerous corridor, but Reliable Union very careful with their flares to make sure that that isn't the case. Likodov will be investing a lot of money into it. He's decided not to go contraption. That means that every time he goes shop, he does have to purchase a lot, and they have just ran out of flares as well, which means that for Reliable Union, traps are deadly. Likodov tagged down 1/3 of his HP. There's not going to be the end of the world.
The other big thing to note here is that Mousesports aren't really, aren't really the team that actually wants to engage. They need to use traps from I'm the Doom.
Ooh, Likodov misses his stuffed. Now, will they be able to get the fight is the question. The one shot, it would have killed, no, it did kill Likodov, and now looking for this HF guy as well. It is destruction, Daredevil looking for Apple, but look at the sustain on this Rona. It just didn't even tickle him, it seemed. An ace comes through for Mouse, and they're going to take the Kraken.
All right, so Mouse, that was actually a nice engage. I was just talking about how it's kind of hard for them to make that work, but they did a perfect job. Apple bought a lot of space for I'm the Doom. They did luck out in the sense that Likodov actually backed directly into a one-shot. It was going very wide, but it managed to actually land and take him down. Kraken now picked up for Mousesports. This is what they need to start really cementing their lead. It's a team I really do believe that's going to struggle a lot of times to go for a good engage, because so much of Crystal Kestrel's power is based on disengage and sort of counter-engage. But when you can leverage the Kraken that's pushing anyway, you can find different windows that you normally could to actually go for fights.
Yeah, no, it's looking good now for Mouse as they starting to have their composition start to really outplay Reliable Union in the fights, and these flares from Likodov are going to have to be on point if they want to avoid traps. Currently Doom just baiting them in to these traps and trying to find the angles. Great damage from the Glimmer shots, just tearing through this turret, and that's going to be it falling before the Kraken even gets really damaged down too much. Will Mouse be able to finish here and now is the question, or will they play this one nice and slowly? I think it has to be the latter. When you have a Kestrel, you can't really force the issue. The turret, though, the Kraken won't be able to take it. That means Mouse are going to be falling back for now, waiting to try and trap Reliable Union into another bad engagement.
If Mouse wanted to try and force the issue, it needed to be right after the turret fell, so that there was a large distance where the Kraken was still, pushing, and you had to divide your attention. They decided not to. I think that's fine. Mouse, this is kind of a critical game. You're playing to get into the finals and to maintain the small but strong legacy that you have after game one and week one. Reliable Union, though, they look fantastic, Dalsy, and I guess whether or not they can actually close out here, we can certainly say that they've made big strides, big improvements. I am looking forward to seeing them in the next weeks. Here comes the engage, though.
Oh, the engage does go down, but Doom manages to escape, traps up, and there's a great gauntlet catching Likodov. One shot's gonna dare through. No, Likodov blocks it, but it doesn't matter because Apfel's there. Oblivion gonna get blocked up. HF guy can't escape this damage, and Apfel's gonna go in for the double kill. It just leaves Likodov, last man standing, gonna try and take down Doom by himself, get over the wall, and escape this damage, but it seems like Mouse are ready to go. You can't stuffed over that, buddy, and that should be the ace coming through. How many seconds? It's 20 on Daredevil. Mouse, can they finish is the question. They've got a minion wave pushing with the ace buffed up, but it's going to be a close call.
I think they can probably push for the win here, Dalsy. Mousesports, we talked about their counter engage being very strong. That was not the best of engagements coming in from Reliable Union. They needed to be closer together so they could really back up the captain. Wow, Mousesports are actually going to back away here. They're playing it super safe. With a Rona, that seems like it was a game win, but Mousesports, I don't think they lose fights easily, so if you want to take it safe, your prerogative, I think it's fine to do that. Reliable Union, maybe they can find a better engage next time, though.
One thing that Reliable Union have going for them is they have a scout trap on that Kraken, which means that they knew that the Kraken wasn't spawned yet. They knew that Mouse couldn't be doing it, so they're not being baited into an area that is currently what I'm the Doom's trying to set up. See those scout traps in that little corridor? He was hoping that Reliable Union rushed straight to the Kraken so they could bait out a fight. A stomp's going to hit Apple here. This is pretty big. If they can find a kill is the question. It's going to spit him out. It's going to be him knocked right out of the fight. And HF Guy going to take so much poke. There's traps there. And now it's HF Guy walking straight into it. Fountain goes out, but they want to keep up this harass. The Gauntlet will find some space. And that's going to one-shot going to miss. Fountain's still there from Justman. Apple's going to heal up with this tree, and I think Doom's going to do the same. If they keep their Fountain and then look for a re-engage soon, then perhaps Mouse can just pull a massive fight. Daredevil going to be stuck in a trap. Down to half HP, but here comes HF Guy. Apple knocked away from the fight. HF Guy drifting dark. They're ready to go in. Nakoda going to dive forward, but there's Apple going forward as well. Fountain gets popped. One shot turns down Daredevil, but HF Guy's untouched in that drifting dark. They're going to walk into an active camo stun, but it doesn't catch HF Guy, and that's going to be Oblivion splitting up the team. Apple doing the work, but he may just go down. Finds one. He almost finds two. Can Doom do enough? As he's lost Justman, he's going to have to play this perfectly. He can't. He loses his life. And now it's going to be Reliable Union taking a Kraken for themselves.
Honestly, Mousesports should have ended the game when they could. HF Guy is such a monster on this Samuel. You give him an inch, he takes a mile. Very poor trigger finger there, actually, from I'm the Doom. Popping that stun before it was going to land on HF Guy gives him a large window to utilize Drifting Dark. They do so much work. I like this as well, kind of taking a while before they actually finish the Kraken. Means that they get more of it on more of their minions. They have Lick It Off up with them for the push. They're not scared of a snipe. Very smart, actually, utilization here. Plus, you take damage from it, you just heal it back up once you actually kill the Kraken. All right, here we go. This is Reliable Union's chance to make things happen. The onus is on Mousesports to engage. We've talked about it. They don't really want to be the team to do that, even though it's worked a couple of times. I don't know. Dalsy, Reliable Union could do this. I really think Mouse should have ended earlier.
It is becoming more and more unlikely, unpredictable.
Oh, HF Guy. Oh no. He's
Lots
so
of traps
close to
being
that
set
trap.
up here.
Oh,
They know where Doom is. There's three of them.
no!
That's going to be the stun. That's going to be HF Guy removed instantly. If they win this fight, they end the game. Daredevil trapped in the Gauntlet's wall. He's not going to be able to escape. I don't think the one shot will land onto Lick It Off, but Apple's got the double kill. They're not going to even bother about this Kraken. It's time to finish the game once and for all. A triple kill for Apple. Another damn triple kill for Apple, AJ. Can you believe it? And it's going to be Mouse joining Dynasty in the finals.
Why? Why not Flare? Man, if anyone is going to get jumped on there, you know it's going to be him. You know it's going to be HF Guy. Why are you flaring yourself? That was brutal, but really well played by Mousesports towards the end to actually find the opening. You know, admittedly, and I'm critical here, but Reliable Union did have a lot going through their head right now. Like, Kestrel could have been doing a variety of things, maybe even going for a backdoor. Who knows, right? So it's tough. It's tough to make that call. In the end, Mousesports were able to make a few of the better calls.
Yeah, it came down to an inch for Mousesports to be able to win the series, but by geez, does Reliable Union look good? I had my doubts about the team, but they have shown up here in week 2, and I can't wait to see more of them. Let's throw it back to our desk to break down that series as we prepare for the EU final.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, Dowsy. I cannot wait to see more Reliable Union. If they can give Mouse that much of a run for their money, then they are a team to watch out for. But Mouse are going to be the ones taking this series in the end. I said it in the first game, I'll say it again here, by the skin of their teeth.